station you count on for local news that matters. This is your Forecast First from KARK, your weather authority.
Severe thunderstorms moving into central Arkansas. Are you under the gun? Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 5 o'clock, everyone. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. Let's check in first with Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, watching all of the watches and warnings that we've had popping up this afternoon. Keith.
Looks kind of rough out there, Keith.
It has been a busy day, Bob and Ashley. Let's quickly look at where things are going on right now. We've got strong to severe thunderstorms continuing to move through parts of east central Arkansas, just north of Brinkley to the south of Searcy now. In and around the Cabot area, you have some very strong thunderstorms headed in your direction. That rain continues a little bit lighter north and west of the Little Rock area, out along I-40 west of town. We do have a flash flood warning in effect for parts of Johnson as well as Pope counties. Although the rain isn't that heavy right now, you did see between 1 and 3 inches just a little while ago. Other showers and thunderstorms in the Little Rock metro area continue to be heavy at times. And again, severe thunderstorm warning for northeast parts of Pulaski County as well as parts of Lonoke County. Closer look now at Little Rock metro area. Downtown, we've got thunderstorms basically surrounding us. They are developing along I-30 just west of the downtown area. Other thunderstorms developing across central and western parts of Pulaski County. Some of those could be producing gusty winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Hot Springs Village, Hot Springs, also severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And those strong to severe thunderstorms continue to the west-southwest toward the DeQueen area. Our chance of rain as we head through the overnight hours, about 60%. But behind this, much cooler and drier air will be headed our way. We'll have your complete forecast in just a little while.
Keith, thank you very much. And another area hit hard by these storms today, pushing into central Arkansas, Fort Chaffee in western Arkansas.
That's right. Buildings damaged, power lines are down. All of this while about 2,000 soldiers are there for training right now. We want to bring in Lieutenant Colonel Keith Moore, who joins us live on the phone. He's with the Arkansas National Guard. And Lieutenant Colonel Moore, can you tell us what happened there today? We're hearing unconfirmed reports of maybe a tornado from the National Guard.
That is correct. We don't have any confirmation on it, but here on the ground, that's exactly what it looks like.
What are some of the things you're seeing because of the storm as far as debris goes?
Well, right now, Bob, we've got probably about 20 to 25 buildings that have sustained anywhere from minor damage with siding missing to heavy roofing damage. So we're still trying to ascertain exactly all the damage and picking up debris. We've got trees down, blocking streets. We've got down power lines, but we are trying to get accountability. And thus far, thank goodness, we don't have any reports of any injuries.
I was going to say, so we're looking at some of those pictures there, and the damage there looks like someone may have been hurt. Good news that no one is hurt, but you guys have got a cleanup on your hands now.
Yes, sir, that's true.
And we are glad to know, because a lot of our viewers may have loved ones who were there for training, so no injuries. We want to thank you again, Lieutenant Colonel Keith Moore, for joining us tonight live at 5.
Lieutenant Colonel, thank you very much. From one base now to another, the lockdown at Little Rock Air Force Base lifted. A major story we've been following all day long. KARK Force David Gomes joining us now live there with the very latest on this. And what is the latest? We know there's been a lockdown, a search for a suspicious person. Where are we at?
Well, Bob, at this point, the threat is clear. That's what we heard around 4 o'clock. And frankly, the largest threat here at the Little Rock Air Force Base, frankly, is the weather. That's why we are inside presenting this report to you right now. But to give you a sense of what we saw over the last 5 hours, a lockdown started shortly after noon. The word from the Little Rock Air Force Base was a suspicious person or suspicious individual, and that's what prompted the lockdown. Fast forward to about 4:30, we found out that, in fact, after an exhaustive search to locate this suspicious individual, that person was never, in fact, located, and the lockdown was lifted. But for a large majority of the afternoon today, cars were stacked up all along the main entrance right behind me at the Little Rock Air Force Base. The big C-130, the main entrance. Traffic stopped for a long time. Spoke with some employees who were on their way to the base. Their commander told them, look, you're not going to go to work today. You might as well go home. So some of the traffic did dissipate. But as you're about to hear from one individual we talked with, some traveled from a very large distance, even North Arkansas, to be here today, only to be turned away.
Whatever it is, that they can get it solved and get back normal. But as long as they've been locked down, they must be something.
And that was Coy Baker from Mountain Home. He ended up turning around and going home. He was going to pick up some documents for a veteran, but he said he'll do that on another day. So again, the Little Rock Air Force Base, a very prolonged lockdown this afternoon, and there was a sense of perhaps something was going on more than just a suspicious individual, but the official word from the Little Rock Air Force Base was, in fact, they never did find anybody after doing an exhaustive security personnel sweep, and the lockout was lifted. And as it stands now, well, now the rain is the biggest threat here. We're live from the Little Rock Air Force Base in Jacksonville. David Goins, KRK4 News.
All right, David, still a lot of questions out there, but at least we know something at this point.
And we should really know from David's live shot that it's raining in Jacksonville. Well, it's been quite some time since Little Rock Air Force Base has been in a lockdown like this. Our own chief meteorologist, Keith Monahan, was in the military, in the Air Force. He has some experience with this stuff.
That's right. And we want to bring in Keith now. You have a background. You were a special agent with the Air Force Special Investigations Office. So have you ever seen a scenario like this?
Well, you know, when I was commander of the unit out at the Air Force Academy, we did have a very similar situation where we actually had an armed bank robbery on the base, and we did the same thing. We closed the installation down for over an hour until we located the armed bank robber. We did that, and then once we ascertained that he didn't have any accomplices, we then reopened the base, but not before checking IDs of everybody coming and going within about 30 minutes either side of when that occurred. So it is a rare thing to happen, and it's only done when conditions are actually dangerous for folks, or could be dangerous. So in this case, I'm sure there was definitely a threat that was perceived by the base commander and the security forces there. So they did the right thing, and you know, I'm sure they would do that again, because you have to see if that threat is real and neutralize it if you can.
It's one of those things. People tend to realize it's a military base, so it's staffed by 100% military personnel, but that's not the case. There are civilians on there. There are folks, while military personnel can react, they know how to react. Some folks, you know, don't. And even in Fort Hood, we saw where, you know, even military folks weren't in a position to react. So
right, everyone on a military bus doesn't carry a weapon all the time, and you've got a lot of civilians work on the base. You have housing areas where base personnel's families live. So it is a serious situation when they do have a threat on the base. Fortunately, in this case, there was no danger, and the danger has been cleared, if indeed there was at some point.
And we're also reminded that Little Rock Air Force Base, the largest C-130 training base in the world, so a very important facility as far as the Department of Defense is concerned.
That's right. Very important.
Keith, thanks very much for your insight.
Thanks,
thanks.
Keith. And we would like you to stay with KARK. We'll have continuing coverage of the lockdown at the Little Rock Air Force Base.
We'll bring you the latest information as it becomes available on the air, online, and at ArkansasMatters.com.
And we are back after a quick break.